A democratic republic of sports. The Sportsocracy with ESPN Asheville hosts Tank Spencer and Jeremy Greene.
Welcome into the Sportsocracy, Tank Spencer and Jeremy Greene. It is a Tuesday morning, almost said Monday morning. Days off kind of confused me. It was nice having a 3-day weekend.
I really want us to start doing videos of the 45 seconds before we go on air. It's the funniest shit we do all day. There's a lot of name calling and
it is.
borderline offensive shit.
It is, but we're glad you're along on the ride with us at the Sportsocracy on all of the social medias. Be sure to like it, share it, and follow it. We are live from the Wicked Weed studio, wickedweedbrewing.com. Drink different. It was a big weekend in the sports world. We had the Daytona 500 ending in another fiery crash.
Hey, who had Michael McDowell on DraftKings?
No, you did not.
I did.
Oh!
Yeah, 100% did.
That was a good day then.
Yeah, I also had two guys that were taken out in the first wreck 15 laps in. So
well.
I had the winner, and I had second, and I had third, and I had fourth, and then I had 35th and 39th.
It worked out. It worked out pretty well for me. I was upset that, I was going to miss the race being on the road all day. Coming back from Charleston and then stopped for lunch. Got to see the first 15 laps, saw the wreck, left, and then, lo and behold, it's on a rain delay. And it was perfect timing.
Nobody will still ever explain to me. So I drive a car, and you drive a car, and both of them drive cars, and you know what we can do? We can drive them in the rain!
You don't drive them at 200 miles an hour in the rain, though.
You're not wrong. I'm not disputing that. Maybe you shouldn't drive it 200 miles an hour in the rain. Maybe it'd be fun to drive it in the rain at $150 around Daytona. Put some fucking headlights on it and some wind chill wipers. You're sponsored by the tire people.
I don't think that's a good idea. I really don't.
They do it in every other series. Why can we not do it in NASCAR? We load them up on the trucks. Now, I understand they don't go to like 90. But every time I see a rain delay in NASCAR, I'm like, I think there's a fix to this. And it might be put headlights on the car that aren't stickers.
The only thing... It's so baffling to me that you still beat this horse every time.
Because it's stupid. It's not stupid. Because the race ended at 1:14 in the morning. You know what would have been better? Wind chill wipers. That would have been better. End it before I go to sleep.
I don't think so. I think that's a safety hazard, and
You're driving a car at 200 miles an hour. It's not exactly like this is the safest shit you've ever done in your life in the first place.
I think it exponentially becomes more unsafe, though, with the water on the track.
Oh, shut up, OSHA. No. Go fuck off.
Excuse me. I apologize.
OSHA over here. It's not safe.
Watch Rally.
You're talking to the same guy that at 275 pounds climbed on both our refrigerator and a ladder this morning trying to figure out what our Wi-Fi password was. Safety is not something that I take that much credence to.
This is very true. Very true.
Ron did it. He's a little more malleable than I am.
But Michael McDowell, we got to give him his props, getting his first win in NASCAR. That's something. 357 races without a win.
He's also the first person I've ever seen win a race that he didn't lead a lap. He didn't actually lead a lap because that lap didn't finish.
No.
So,
quarter of a lap.
Good for you.
Won a quarter of a lap. Look, it's the perfect situation. I loved hearing his explanation of it afterwards. Like, he was saying, we were right behind the two, and we were going to make a move. And no, you weren't. No, you weren't. You were holding on to third, going, third in the Daytona 500, third in the Daytona 500, and then a wreck happened in front of you, and you went,
shit!
Fucking sweet!
Shit!
I never expected to win this race.
I really wish they'd had a camera in his car so he'd just go, because that's how that went.
Probably did. Exactly. He probably did. As soon as Joey Logano and Brad Keselowski got together and went past him, he was like, oh. They just handed him a Daytona 500. And good for him.
It's like
It does nothing.
It's like a hug and a
I'm tired of hearing this. The Daytona 500 matters so much. This is going to be a career-changing thing for Michael McDowell.
Yeah, it's not. Was it for that other guy that did? Was it named Trevor Bayne?
Trevor Bayne.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like Michael McDowell got the lead in that race, and it was like a hug and a loveless marriage. He just went, "Oh, this is what it's supposed to feel like." This is the first time I've led since I was 16.
Right. But every now and then, the little guy gets to win one.
I'm happy for him. He's one of my favorite drivers. That dude has perfected the art of not getting in a wreck. He does that better than anybody at those big courses.
Yep.
You're not as fast as everybody else. You're not as good as everybody else. All you have to do is survive. Just don't hit anybody else. You'll finish in the top 10. I call that Corey LaJoying. If you watch NASCAR at all, you know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
Just ride a half a mile behind everybody else. By the time they stop being on fire and the cars slide out, you just drive right through. I'm still here.
I love it. He was on one of the shows this morning, and he was talking about how he didn't leave the track. He really couldn't bring himself to believe that he had actually won the Daytona 500. That he stuck around for the post-race inspection till 5 o'clock in the morning just to make sure that the car was going to pass inspection, just so he would make it real. That he never got to go to sleep because he was, he was in the inspection, and as soon as he got out of it, he went to IHOP, had breakfast, and then he had to get on the morning show circuit. He did. He went to IHOP, and then he had to get on the morning show circuit to do all of his interviews. But that entire time, you got to be just on the most euphoric high you've ever been. Never expecting to win a Daytona 500. In the world of basketball, things are getting really interesting. What?
Are you not entertained? Me and Ron's Florida State Seminoles just beat the bejesus out of Virginia. Hey, and you know why that happened?
Because we bet again.
Because I bet Virginia.
Nice. So from now on, you're going to be betting against the Seminoles every game?
Yes. I'm going to bet against us right into a national championship that's going to cost me a lot. This will be the most expensive national title ever.
How much would that mean to Florida State to win a basketball championship?
It would be the greatest thing that ever happened to me. I would give up all of our football titles just for one basketball title. And you know why I can say that? Because I don't have to give them up.
Right. Because that's never going to be a proposition that
Correct.
you're put into. Jalen Johnson's leaving Duke.
Yeah, this has been. You think Krzyzewski just wakes up and goes, "Why does my back not hurt yet? I need my back to hurt." Because the stink of this is going to stick to me for a minute.
Well, but here's the thing: is this a good move for him?
Hell no.
I mean, Jalen Johnson is a guy who hasn't finished. He hasn't finished a full season since he was a junior in high school.
Well, let's be really honest. There were some questions about this guy in the first place because I think he went to 4 high schools. So this is not a guy that felt like got along and played well with others.
Right.
He probably didn't get a smiley face on his report card under that little header. Then you come to Duke, you play 13 games, you're hurt constantly. Mm-hmm. And let's be really honest, you weren't that good. At the end of the day, you weren't that good.
No.
This is a guy that's lucky to go in the first round. That's where we're at. And then the talk of, will there be more opt-outs? Maybe. I hope they matter more than this one because I really don't want to talk about this one all that much. For me, this is just a reason to make fun of Duke, which I will take every one of those that comes about.
I just feel like you do yourself a disservice if you're at such a. I mean, is this you tapping out on I can't do any more damage to my draft stock?
I don't remember who the reporter is. It's somebody that works for CBS Sports that said, "Can we make sure we understand these terms? Parting of ways equals fired. Opting out equals quit." I don't remember who you are. Good for you.
Yeah.
You and I could be friends. I now follow you and I don't even know who you are. I saw that and just went, yep, you will be on the Twitter stream from now on.
Well, that's not fair. You can't say he quit.
Bullshit.
Yeah, we can. Yeah, we can.
Quit.
Look, Roy Williams was trending last night on Twitter after this happened because somebody put out the quote from 2 weeks ago where Roy Williams said opting out is quitting. And everybody started losing their minds. Oh my God, look at Roy Williams. He's so classless. First off, didn't happen yesterday. Someone was just bringing that back up as an extra little dig to Duke and to Jalen Johnson. So it wasn't Roy Williams making this statement in response to Jalen Johnson, but it still holds true. Opting out is quitting.
You're not wrong.
And here's the thing. If he feels that's the best path for him, he can do it. By all means. But don't expect everybody else not to think there's something wrong with him. Because that's immediately where my mind went. And where I think a lot of NBA front offices would go. Is to say there's something wrong with a guy who, comes in, plays 13 games, wasn't all that great, was hurt, everything Jeremy just said. Last couple of games he was being sat. He wasn't playing a full load of minutes. And now he wants to opt out. I feel like that's a little bit of a red flag, in my opinion. It's the complete opposite of the whole Jalen Waddle situation, right? Jalen Waddle had nothing to prove. He was playing for a national championship, obviously, and I understand Jalen Johnson doesn't have a national championship to play for.
No, because Duke's going to be in that not-in tournament if they're in anything. I'm waiting.
They might not even make that.
I'm waiting for Duke to do that small school thing where they decide to sit for the rest of the season. We will not be playing for the rest of the season because no one cares. Because we're tired of losing, and Coach K's back hurts.
I do something. This is a very weird season, and all of these guys making opt-out decisions and all of this is like. We even have this locally. I'm still trying to wrap my head around. UNC Asheville has called off the rest of their regular season. They're not going to play again until the tournament. They're in third place in the Big South.
Why? Let me ask you. Why would you? Why would you? No good can come from this.
Good point.
You just put everybody in there. All right, guys, we got to be good for like a week. Or a week and a half. And then we're going to play in the tournament because, yes, the conference tournaments are going to happen, especially in these smaller conferences. Yes, they're going to happen. So just be healthy. Never know. Maybe you get lucky. Maybe, maybe something happens. Was it Winthrop? Winthrop's the best team in that conference, right? Right. We can tell who works those games and who doesn't. Maybe they get a Rona outbreak and now you're in the tournament.
Right.
You have to do what's best for you. Participation trophies are bullshit. I don't care what you think about what I do. It's best for me that we sit out, make sure we're right for the tournament, maybe we get lucky. And I'm not saying get lucky that somebody gets Rona, maybe we get lucky that we're healthier than everybody else.
Right.
Or we just play better.
Right.
I to be honest with you, if you're not a top 25 team right now, I don't know why you're playing at all. I don't understand why Gonzaga's playing at all.
Yeah, Gonzaga doesn't have to play again.
Gonzaga could not play another game all year. And you know what I know they are definitively?
The number one
one seed in the tournament, and it ain't close.
Right. I get it, but, that's that little part of me that says, is that really, it feels dirty, I guess, to just sit out the season and wait and see what happens. I don't know, something about that, I don't know, like when you get into conversations with people about what's the best sport. Football or baseball. And the one argument that I ever accepted about baseball is better than football is that in baseball you can't kneel down at the end of the game. Now we understand why we do it. There's no reason to keep going at it. But in baseball you have to pitch it across the plate every time. You got to finish out the game. There's no taking a knee. There's none of that. And I don't know how I feel about a team taking a knee, essentially, in the middle of a season.
I'm fine with it. Okay. I'm fine with it, careless. I mean, let's be really honest. What is going to happen? It is February 16th. All right, so you're using UNCA. That tournament starts in 12 days.
Yep.
What is going to happen between now and then that is going to change your mind about shit?
Not a thing.
Nothing.
And I'm not saying
so. You make sure you're right, and let's go. If we're gonna keep being worried about super sniffles, then I'm going to do what is best for me.
Yeah. I can understand that.
Yeah, I'm back on the super sniffle string. Let's go.
You want that a little closer?
Yeah, I do. I need the Kevin Vick Memorial Bell. We have too much shit on this table.
Yeah, I don't need you accidentally slapping me. That would not be fun for me.
Accidentally.
Uh-huh.
Oh, it could be Slabsgiving. Don't you?
Yeah, and I don't want anybody to be confused about this. I mean, I do work for the UNC Asheville basketball program, and look, I'm not taking shots at Mike Morrell or the program or anything. I love those guys, and
they're doing what they.
But I understand. But it's just, and I'm sure this was a real tough decision for Mike Morrell to come to. But in the end, is it best for the program?
Yes.
Yes.
The answer is yes.
The answer is yes.
You have to do what's best for you. You know, one of the things that we have lost sight of is that still got to take care of number one. And number one is, oh me, oh my. This one right, cheer. That's what you got to do. That's how life works. Ain't nobody going to take care of you but you.
Okay, we have to mark this down. Alex Sanner says he wants us to remember this day. He says the Jags will choke.
The Zags. The Jags.
What did I say?
You said the Jags.
Did
We're
I?
sitting around
I meant
waiting
to say
on
the Zags.
That beautiful blonde-headed quarterback to show up and change their franchise.
The Zags will choke Final 8 or the Sweet 16. He's a lifelong Zags fan. How are you a lifelong Zags fan and you think that this team... I need that explained. I really do need that
It's
explained.
called being cynical. You ever been a Jets fan? That's what happens. When your team screws you time and time again, you become a little cynical.
Well, I mean, I guess.
And I've spent the vast majority of my life being a Jets, a Knicks, and a Mets fan. I've been screwed more times than Jenna Jameson.
I don't know. I think by this point, you'd be willing to put that away. Because there's no question to me.
It doesn't work that way.
Okay. There's no question to me.
See, and if you didn't have 2 horseshit Super Bowls, you'd know that.
Horseshit? Horseshit? What do you mean horseshit?
One of them you brought in, Tom frickin' Brady. He needed the greatest quarterback that ever lived to win you one.
Yep.
That one felt good. Did it feel as good as the first one?
It did.
Yeah, I'm shocked.
It did, especially when I had to sit next to somebody day after day after day saying, there's no shot of your team winning the Super Bowl. It did kind of feel good. Made me feel all warm and fuzzy inside.
That's called heartburn.
It's the beginnings of a heart attack.
Somebody dial 911.
So you say that this decision by Jalen Johnson knocks him into the low first round? Because he was like a top 10 prospect.
No, he wasn't.
Okay.
He started that way. He wasn't that way now.
Okay.
I mean, here's the thing, and this is, maybe I'm differently qualified to speak on this because I'm the draft guy. You want me to tell you what the number one job of scouts is? It's to find character flaws. This is a character flaw. And you have exposed it, and people don't like to hear that, but it's the truth. And I got news for you. Every NBA team, this will be in the first paragraph of their evaluation of Jalen Johnson. I promise you. I said this about Jalen Waddle. Or not Jalen Waddle, Jamar Chase. I said this about Micah Parsons. I said this about Greg Rousseau. Guess what? You seen mock drafts lately? Where's Micah Parsons going? He was a top 5 guy, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, top 15.
Wow.
We'll be lucky if he doesn't fall out of the top 15.
Yeah.
Greg Rousseau, he's out of the top 20. You know why? Because it's a commitment problem. Because teams see that and they go, So when times get rough, you take care of you. And then they look at somebody like Jalen Waddle, who was a top 25 guy,
right.
He'll go in the top 10. Just exactly like I told you. Look at mock drafts. It's ain't that hard to figure out. We're all talking to the same people. I mean, it's not like we all have different sources. There are so many people that are willing to talk. The vast majority of us talk to the same 20 people. We hear the same shit. I'm not just firing this off the hip. When you opt out of shit, this is going to come back to bite you, period. Name me one player that's opted out that you feel as good about right now as you did, say, a year ago.
Can't.
Slick Rick just asked me where I see Micah Parsons going. I didn't think he could fall past the Giants. I'm starting to wonder. I thought the Giants was that was his drop dead. I'm starting to wonder. See, here's what happens when you do this, and I'm going to tie this into Jalen Johnson. All right, so Jalen Johnson has 13 games at Duke, and then he has his high school tape. This is what we're going to build his mock-up over. This is what we're going to build your player profile on. Well, you had massive deficiencies in high school, just like every player does. Slick Rick said Penny Sewell. You want me to tell you a fun little secret about Penny Sewell? No shot in hell he would have been later than 2 a year ago. He'll fall to 5 now. Now, that is a product of how the draft fell, but I got news for you. If he had been that same left tackle at Oregon this past year in 6 games that he was the year before, he would have been no doubt 2. Jets would have taken him at 2. We'll deal with Darnold. We'll have 2 bookend tackles, and we'd have rolled with it. His decision to opt out probably cost him $10 million because there's a huge difference between 2 and 5. I mean, people like me still see the talent the same way because there weren't big deficiencies in his tape. There's huge deficiencies in Jalen Johnson's tape. There are things about him that really bother me. And now I just see a path where teams go, you know what? We just don't want to fuck with it. I just don't even want to fuck with it. I don't. You quit on your team. Your team had no. So I want you to think about the philosophy of this. You have a guy that basically just quit on his team because they have no shot to go to the tournament. We can universally agree on that, right?
Yeah.
One of the med staff that has dealt with Jalen Johnson said this injury is not bad enough to keep him out. Not saying it's somebody from Duke, but it's somebody that's seen him, which made me laugh a lot.
Yeah.
Because that's 100% not legal, but it happened. And it happens all the time. So these bad teams that are going to be picking at the top end of the second round, you don't think they look at Jalen Johnson and go, he quit on Krzyzewski. Do you not think he's going to quit on J.B. Bickerstaff?
Right.
100%. 100% you think that. 100% you think this is a 19-year-old entitled kid that has never had anybody look at him and go, you're just not that special. Well, first one, here I am. You're not that special, and this is going to hurt you. Your decision to do this probably cost you $15 million. Guaranteed, because second-round picks are not guaranteed. And he will not go in the first round.
Right.
Eric Holmes asked me if I have Justin Fields as a top 3 quarterback. Right now, I have him firmly at 3. He's behind Zach Wilson, and he's obviously behind Trevor Lawrence. But I'm not going to say I'm warming to Justin Fields. I'm warming to the idea of a team taking him and him not playing this year.
Yeah.
So long as he doesn't play this year, I feel a little better.
You look on social media right now, you'll see a lot of excuse making and a lot of why are you being so tough on a 19-year-old kid for making a decision like this?
Life's tough, kiddo. Get a helmet.
Sorry, bro. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, you want to see, we're not going to pull punches because he's a 19-year-old kid. You're a grown man at that point. Here's
the thing. Here's what nobody wants to say.
You're not beyond reproach because you're 19.
Let's just go down this path. This is a kid. So you say, oh, he's a 19-year-old kid. Yeah, this is also a 19-year-old kid that, let's go 4 months from now, could very well be a millionaire. Right now, he's a broke college student that made a very bad decision because the people around him are telling him that he's better than he is. You know how many of those I've seen in my life? I call this DeJuan Wagnering.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You remember DeJuan Wagner? High school, he was the man. Nobody could stop him. Then he went to Memphis. Nobody could stop him. Then he got sick. And thankfully, John Calipari had taken care of him. I'll be honest with you, one of the reasons that I don't come down on John Calipari that hard is because of DeJuan Wagner. Because Calipari knew, you're going to get to the NBA and you're going to be a situational player. He got to the league, got his guaranteed money, almost died from an upper, a UI track or something. And thankfully, he had a coach that looked out for him. That's why I'll never come down on Calipari that hard. Because I do think he has his players' best interest at heart.
Right.
He found a niche in college basketball, and he's beating it sideways. Not working for him this year, but it does the vast majority of years.
Right. I've seen a lot of people trying to, again, make excuses for Jalen Johnson. Oh, well, you weren't criticizing Mike Krzyzewski like this when he sat him. What, is he just supposed to play him because he's got a name? Because he was, he had a very small number next to his high school class ranking?
Yeah. Krzyzewski's trying to win.
Right.
At the end of the day, Krzyzewski's trying to win because that's the name of the game.
Right. Oh, Krzyzewski's trying to make Jalen Johnson look bad. That's the route you're going down.
No, he made himself look bad.
Right.
He accomplished that all by his little lonesome.
Right.
I mean, and look, I'm as big a Duke hater as there is in the world. Mike Krzyzewski's beyond reproach.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There's nothing you can say. If you do say something against him, you sound like a moron. I can't stand him. I've called him Ratface for as long as I can remember. But I still respect him.
Mm-hmm.
That name aside. That might not be the most respectful name.
But those same people that are making those arguments, I imagine, are on Draymond Green's side. His post-game rant that he went on yesterday about players and the double standard that exists between players and organizations. Players can't dog it like James Harden did and not get creamed, for what he did in his last days in Houston, but then teams can turn around and sit you and say they're trading you. He says that that's a double standard. I can't make those two things connect in my head.
So you need to actually set this up a little bit more of who he was talking about.
Okay.
There's a story that came out yesterday. I'll let you set it up because you do the setups.
The story yesterday about Andre Drummond being sat by the Cleveland Cavaliers. They're looking to trade him. They're looking to get him out. Same thing with Blake Griffin. Blake Griffin's getting sat down because they're looking to trade him. And I don't see any problem with that. I don't see any problem with teams going, we can get something out of you. You need to sit down until we can figure out a deal. Because if you get hurt, the deal's done.
Yeah.
Plain and simple. If he gets hurt, the deal is done. Why would they not sit somebody that they're looking to get something out of?
Let me ask you a question. Blake Griffin, if you had to put his career in a nutshell, what would you say?
He's
a very talented, high-flying player that had injury issues.
Yeah.
A lot of them. Do you know how much he's owed over the next 2 years?
Oh, a lot.
It's $36.6 million this year, $39 next year. Mm-hmm. Do you know how that guarantees? He gets hurt. Let me ask you a question about your life. If you were overpaid at your job, what would they do to you? You haven't been productive in a long time. Blake Griffin's not a top 100 player in the NBA. I got news for you. Andre Drummond's not either. Mm-hmm. You know what would happen? You get fired because that's how it works. Mm-hmm. That's how the world works. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure everybody, there are a lot of people that want to see sunshine and rainbow and unicorns blow out of everybody's ass. Sorry, it don't work that way. You suck at your job, they're going to stop paying you eventually. Andre Drummond and Blake Griffin, here we are.
Yep.
And you want to know why they're sitting them? Because they're terrified they'll get hurt and they're going to be on the hook for millions of dollars. Mm-hmm. Because both these guys are most likely going to get bought out. Play a fun game. What do you think Andre Drummond's worth right now?
Ooh, in a straight-up trade?
In a straight-up deal, what's he worth right now?
Oh, God.
Second rounder.
I don't know, second-round pick?
About right.
Yeah.
So one of the teams that has at least vague interest in him is our Charlotte Hornets. Mm-hmm. Do you know what it would take for them to acquire Andre Drummond?
No clue.
So Drummond's on an expiring deal. This is a player option year. And by the way, I see several Hornets fans in the comments of YouTube and Facebook both saying, Drummond could be good in Charlotte. Yep. I don't disagree with you. He fits a need that they have. Here's what you need to understand. This is the craziest stat you'll ever hear in your life. Andre Drummond's 27 years old. He's been in the league 8 years. He's been in the top 5 in defensive rebound efficiency every year of his career. You know what the highest one of his teams ever finished in rebounding was? 25th. Think about what I just said. You were one of the best rebounders by efficiency in the NBA, and your team couldn't rebound. Why?
Is that his fault?
Yes. It's the way you balance the floor. He is borderline impossible to balance the floor around. Because if he's from here to imitation Tank Spencer over there, he can't score. League average inside 5 feet, 65%.
Right.
That's what you want your big guys to be converting inside the charge circle.
Right.
You know what Andre Drummond is? About 58%. Not only is he not a good shooter, because he's a terrible shooter outside of 5 feet, he's not efficient next to the basket. Here's what he does. Fantasy players love him because he gets a bajillion rebounds and does nothing with them. Nothing. Because he can't run the floor. So you can't start a break with him because he's slow as fucking molasses. Mm-hmm. So you start the break real slow, and then he tallies behind, posts somebody up, and then you have to run the offense through him. Mm-hmm. Because if he doesn't get the ball, he's irrelevant. This is a guy that can literally go 8 minutes at a time and not do shit. That's hard to do for a guy that's standing 3 feet away from the basket at all times. Mm-hmm. He's not a good player. Nobody wants to say that, and it's not nice to say. Oh, he's not. You know, this is competition. You know, I understand that a lot of people got participation trophies, and you think I'm supposed to be nice. Mm-hmm. Well, at the end of the day, we're trying to win. And Andre Drummond's not a winning player.
Right.
Think about how many teams he's been on in the league. from Detroit and out of Cleveland. I mean, those teams were good.
No.
It's 0.
Yeah, none of them.
It's 0. So why would you keep trotting this guy up and down the floor?
Right.
It makes no sense whatsoever.
Right. And I can't for the life of me get to where Draymond Green's trying to go with this.
I know where he's trying to go. He's trying to say that there's a double standard of James Harden forces his way out of Adam Black. Adam Black said that's not on him. I disagree with you. He's 100% the reason. I'll tell you why in a minute. He's talking about Drummond, and he's been on trash teams. I agree with that. Stan Van Gundy's a nightmare. The fact he got another job is a joke to me. Mm-hmm. However, there is definitely a tie. I'll tell you what that is in just a second. What Draymond's trying to say is James Harden got killed for demanding a trade. And, us in the media, we the big bad media said James Harden. No, we were pissed at the way he did it. Mm-hmm. I could care less that you want to be traded. You got to be somebody else's problem. I've said routinely, I think Houston's in better shape without him than they were with him. Mm-hmm. And it's not close. Mm-hmm. I'm not killing you for that. What I'm killing you for is the fact that you became a big fat fuck and you decided to trot out there like you had never seen a basketball before.
Right.
Some of the tape of the games he played in Houston this year are disgusting to watch. There are times that I swear to you, I think he was doing it on purpose. Come down, dribble for 10 seconds, fire one away, and then half-ass walk back on defense. You're trying to get traded. Mm-hmm. And this is one of the only professions in the world where you can do that because you're utterly talented. There are not a lot of people that can do what James Harden can do. There's just not. I mean, we can universally agree on that, right?
Yes, absolutely.
That's the reason you can balloon up to your fighting weight and come up and come out and play like you don't understand the sport and still get what you want. Leverage is a thing. James Harden had it. Andre Drummond and Blake Griffin don't. Mm-hmm. And I'll be honest with you. You want me to tell you why I have no sympathy for Andre Drummond? He knew it was coming. Because this was a player option that he kicked in. Mm-hmm. If he wanted to be on a team that loved him, he could have done that. It would have cost you about $25 million. Mm-hmm. But you didn't do that now, did you? You wanted that check. Cool. Cash that check. And you're going to sit on the bench until we find somebody that will trade for you. And guess what? There's not going to be a lot of suitors out there. Mm-hmm. Charlotte's one of the few teams that have the assets and the need to have him. Problem is, I think they would want talent back.
Oh, yeah.
I think you would have to get somebody like Sekou Doumbouya or Sadiq Bey or one of these young guys that Detroit has to take on the contract. That's how bad it is. Mm-hmm. That's how bad it is. Because Detroit, and the reason I said Detroit right there is because they're one of the only teams in the league that can facilitate a deal. Cleveland doesn't have shit. Cleveland has no players. If Cleveland is going to give you, all right, so just think about what you know of that roster, the way that you know that Cleveland roster. They have Colin Sexton, Darius Garland. They're untouchable.
Right.
That's what they're building this team around. Mm-hmm. What you gonna add outside of that? Dylan Windler? That make you feel real warm and fuzzy? You feel real good about JaVale McGee?
No,
there's nothing there. And Jared Allen is part of their future. They're building this team around Jared Allen, Darius Garland, and Colin Sexton. Mm-hmm. They don't have anything to give. So, I mean, you're stuck. They're going to end up either having to buy him out or give him up. It's Cody Zeller and Terry Rozier.
That's how the money works?
Mm-hmm.
Fuck that.
That's the only way that...
Really? No.
It clears part of the cap sheet and it fixes a problem for Charlotte. Charlotte has a problem that Terry Rozier and Devontae Graham can't be on the floor at the same time. Mm-hmm. They just can't. They're two undersized guards that can't defend. Mm-hmm. So you can't be on the floor at the same time. Because if they have a guard that's a real efficient scorer, they beat you to death. And LaMelo Ball's not a great defender, but he's big. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I mean, I can see a path that happens. I'll be honest with you, the part of that deal that they won't like doing is giving up Cody Zeller. Because Cody Zeller's actually been pretty good. Mm-hmm. Cody Zeller's been better than Andre Drummond.
Indeed. I was
You'll give me stats and you're wrong.
What?
I just had this feeling somebody's going to give me stats of how good Andre Drummond's been.
Oh, gotcha.
Andre Drummond's been a accumulator on a god-awful team. Cody Zeller has contributed to winning. Oh, and now back to what Adam Black said. Here's the problem. Here's why he's been on such trash teams. He's had players around him. Okay. He single-handedly broke Blake Griffin. You do realize that, right? Mm-hmm. Because Blake, he did exactly what Blake did. He just wasn't nearly as efficient at it. Because Blake was pretty much a back-to-the-basket inside of 10 feet until the last 2 years in Cleveland when he decided, or with the Clippers, when he decided, well, now I'm going to shoot 14 threes a week. Well, he wasn't efficient at that, and that's what got him traded out of L.A. because he's not good at that. So he wound up with Andre Drummond, and they went, we have two guys that can't get more than 8 feet away from the basket. So what do we do now?
Right.
And then teams around the league figured out, well, if Drummond's here, Blake's going to have to get away from the basket, and then he's borderline irrelevant. If he can't beat his defender off the dribble, I don't agree with you. They had no guards that could shoot. The team was built horribly for Andre Drummond. I don't disagree. The NBA has left the Andre Drummonds of the world in the dust. I mean, really think about how many high-level centers have we seen in the NBA come out in the last 5 years? I have one off the top of my head. It's DeAndre Ayton, and that's it. And I'm going back to the draft after Joel Embiid because he had huge medical issues.
Right.
Wiseman
Yeah.
seems to be
It's just a thing that doesn't exist anymore.
Wiseman's been a fucking disaster. Wiseman's been hard to watch at times, and he's as athletically gifted as any big you're going to see. Problem is that the NBA's moved past this. There's going to be a time where 7-footers are a dinosaur in the NBA, and Andre Drummond plays like a stereotypical one.
Yeah, not fast enough to run as fast as the
Nope.
NBA goes.
And that's another beauty of Cody Zeller, is that Cody Zeller can run the floor.
Yeah.
He looks like an ostrich when he runs, but he can run.
And he does have the ability to shoot away from the basket.
Yep.
So, I mean, I get it. When I first heard all of these rumblings about, DeAndre Drummond could be in play for the, Andre Drummond could be in play for the Charlotte Hornets. I thought, is there a possibility that we could swing some kind of three-way deal with Houston to get Oladipo?
The answer to that is no.
Don't have the ammo?
No. Oladipo's not good. Oladipo is coveted around the league. I don't 100% understand why at all times, but I don't hate Oladipo. People think I do, but I don't.
Right. I don't know.
He's
He
fine.
seems
It ain't my. He ain't my jammy jam.
he's always been a player that I liked, and I would like to see him be able to fit in Charlotte because I think he could play with that roster very, very well. But there again, I'm not the money man. I don't know how all of that works. What would you have to give? What is the price tag right now for Victor Oladipo? Because apparently Houston's got him on the market.
Oh, he'll probably be traded. There's going to be a shitload of trades in the NBA, just so you know. I mean, a shitload of trades in the NBA. Because there are a lot of teams that are looking at themselves right now going, not only are we losing money, but we suck. And there's a lot of just average teams. I told this, I don't know what it is now, but as of, I want to say it was Thursday of last week on the ESPN show, there were 6 teams in the NBA that had single-digit losses. Average teams played 24 games. That means the bulk of the league is 10-14 to 12-12 to 14-10. That's what virtually the whole league is. Some teams are going to see themselves as contenders, some teams are not. The teams that aren't are going to sell off. The teams that do are going to buy. This is a perfect storm for a fun NBA trade season. Plus, there's not a clear best team in the NBA outside the Lakers.
Who are not
I mean, the Utah Jazz. Are you not a believer in the Jazz?
No. They're fine.
They're a very solid team. They will make a deep run and then end up getting spanked in the playoffs.
Adam Black said the Jazz are the Nuggets of this year. You're not wrong. And no, I'm not on the Jazz. I'm still riding with my 2021 NBA champion Denver Nuggets.
the fighting jokers?
They have cooler swag.
Fighting up from 7th place.
They have cooler swag and they have Nikola Jokic. That's all I need. That's all I need. I don't need you to be good. I pulled for the Knicks. All right. The fact that you're in playoff competition, yeah. And I had to deal with James Dolan's dumbass.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm gonna ride this Nuggets train for quite some time.
The Knicks are actually in 6th place, though.
Yeah.
Yes.
They're one spot ahead of.
Don't
the
call it a
Denver
comeback.
Nuggets.
Here we go. Wrote a song about it. Like to hear it? Here you go.
Oh, the East. Oh, you gotta love the East.
Will Stanley on YouTube said LaMelo Ball's is easily the best of the Ball brothers.
Yep.
That's like being the best looking Spice Girl. It doesn't really mean that much.
It was Ginger. It was Ginger Spice. Just so you know.
No,
Yes, it was.
isn't that Kylie Minogue?
No.
No.
Jerry
Holloway. That's
Falwell.
right. I always confuse those two because they look alike.
Yeah. It's not Jerry Falwell.
No.
Jerry Falwell.
No, Jerry Falwell's who's cutting checks to Hugh Freeze.
Yeah.
It's not the only checks he cuts.
Saw that coming.
Yep.
I saw that coming.
But it's Ginger and it's not close.
Disagree with you. In the comments, best looking Spice Girl.
Was it sporty?
I want to see how many people agree with me. Patrick Holt said the Spice Girls were hot. No, they weren't. It's the cheerleader theory.
No.
There was one that was very attractive, and then the rest were just.
Mel? Was it the lead one? No. Oh.
Mel B. No, it wasn't.
Well, now I'm trying.
There it is. Patrick Holt got it.
Gosh, I don't remember that one.
It's Miss David Beckham.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's the best looking one.
Now I have to look it up.
It's Victoria Beckham.
Yeah, I disagree.
There has been way more dissent on this than I thought. I'm not shocked somebody threw out a Baby Spice. Me and you need to talk after the show. I'll tell you some shit.
I don't get that one.
You don't need to.
Should I?
No.
Should I be getting that one?
No.
Okay.
Somehow you're the one that watches movies and I'm the one that knows shit about entertainment, which is hilarious to me. I know things about celebrities' lives and don't know shit of why they're famous.
I know nothing.
I have had
their
it
lives.
explained to me why. I've had it explained to me why Kim Kardashian is famous about 6 times, and I still don't get it.
Because she was in a porn and her dad was OJ's
Nope,
lawyer.
it's really more her dad was OJ's lawyer. Who
Yeah.
gives a shit? She hasn't done anything, and her voice drives me insane.
But her daughter is a wonderful artist.
Oh God.
What are we even talking about?
No, we gotta talk about this just because Brian brought it up. So apparently, I don't remember the kid's name. North. I think it's Northwest.
Northwest.
Which is still comical to me to say out loud. She drew a picture of some kind that looked like it should be hanging in a museum. And Kim tried to explain to us that this was the work of her 7-year-old. And every person like me went, bullshit. I know her parents didn't exactly come from the top of the gene pool, is all I'm saying. Listen to Kanye and Kim talk and tell me that they have some little prodigy child. Don't buy it. I don't buy it.
So was it a fake picture? Or
Oh, 100%. Oh, I mean, it was a real picture. It just wasn't drawn by their child.
Oh, I didn't know if this was like something. This was actually like a famous painting that
No.
somebody else did.
No, this was this beautiful picture that they said was drawn by their 7-year-old, and I went, bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't tell you who drew it. I can tell you for damn sure who didn't.
Assets.
I don't know how we got off on this, but
Assets.
here we are.
Assets make you famous. Absolutely.
I was going to do something that probably wouldn't have gone well for me.
Yeah,
But I didn't.
I wouldn't tempt it. I got in this conversation with my wife yet again. We were driving back over the weekend, and she was talking about J.J. Watt. Or J.J. Watt came up in the conversation because she asked me if I really thought that J.J. Watt would end up in Tampa Bay. And I was like, do you really want to talk about this? Because I always have to preface it with that. Whenever she asks me a sports question, I want to make sure she actually wants to know the answer before I give it. Like, do you just want me to say, yeah, it could happen and move on? Or do you actually want me to get into this?
The answer is she never wants you to get into this. I've met your wife.
And then she said something about, oh, and J.J. Watt, isn't he the one that's married to that soccer player? And I went, I don't know.
The answer is yes.
Don't know. Oh, she told me all about it because apparently she had heard the story. Because apparently there was something where she and JJ got married and they started or got engaged, and the news media started referring to her as JJ Watt's fiance. And then JJ had made a stand for his woman, saying she's not just JJ Watt's fiance, she's a superstar athlete in her own right. And I had no clue any of this had gone on, and I don't care.
I don't care.
I'm sorry, I don't care. I don't care who they're married to, who they're dating. Don't give a shit.
Jeffrey, I found that missing baby.
They could all be dating each other. And
I don't care.
It just doesn't matter to me. Oh God, celebrity lives and all of that. No, I don't get it.
Oh yeah,
I'll tell you every movie somebody's been in. I can tell you a thing.
Oh yeah, I
about
can
the
do a show
personal
about
life.
that. I 100% could. Because it amuses me.
So it always, my wife constantly hating Tom Cruise because he's crazy and the Scientology thing and all of that.
He is
I'm not saying
crazy,
he's
and
not.
he's a member of a cult.
I'm not saying he's not. All I'm saying is I don't give a shit. The guy makes excellent movies. Well, I mean, some of them are excellent.
You're using the word excellent.
Others miss the mark.
We've already figured out that you grade on a curve, and that curve sucks.
Look, I'm never going to go against Cole Trickle. This is his best performance by far. No one will ever convince me otherwise.
Days of Thunder?
Days of Thunder.
Yeah.
You'll never convince me otherwise. Fuck you, Top Gun fans. I don't care. That was a very overrated movie.
Top Gun?
Yeah.
Never seen it. Anything that has Val Kilmer, I am crossed out.
Yeah. Anyway, to get back to the conversation.
Hold on, before we get back to the conversation, since we're off
let's
the
go down
rabbit
another
hole.
rabbit hole.
Well, this is not another rabbit hole.
Okay.
I posted some pictures of new merch that will be available in our new relaunch merch store on Friday. Any comments in the anybody that wants to comment in the comments what they thought of it, things that we can change before we actually press send on these things, that would be greatly appreciated. Yesterday we released we did our branding in Carolina Panthers and Charlotte Hornets colors.
Yeah.
A lot of that looked pretty good. Anybody, if you want to see more, feel free to message me. I can show you more. Just let me know what you think of that. If there's anything I need to change, I'll be putting out another sheet like I did yesterday at some point today. Mm-hmm. These are a little more aggressive. I did the nice ones on Monday. Now we have some that have some slogans of mine on them. Might be a little more offensive.
Oh, sorry, Patrick Holt. He's apparently a big Top Gun fan.
We work with the biggest Top Gun fan.
Yep.
Who still to this day doesn't realize that I watched a movie thinking it was Top Gun and I was wrong.
I'm not gonna lie, the incessant nature of his love for that movie kind of makes me hate it more. Just gonna be honest. The Tennessee Volunteers have a new defensive coordinator.
Is that right?
They got Tim Banks from Penn State. So we can close the chapter on that one. And UCF made a hire. Gus Malzahn. Gus Malzahn is a 5-year deal, $11.5 million going to Orlando. What?
I can't not say this. So UCF has convinced Gus Malzahn that it's a top 20 job.
Yep.
They had to hire a guy who was paid $22 million to go away. Do you realize how bad you have to be for somebody to go, I will give you $22 million to go the fuck away and not come back? This is what they did with Gus Malzahn at Auburn. Mm-hmm. In a pandemic year. Whoa, we didn't make any money. Don't care. 22, go.
Yeah.
Go. Yeah. They did that with Gus Malzahn. And then he said this was a dream job because I can go 8-4 and nobody will give a shit. That's the part he left out, is I can go 8-4 and nobody will give a shit.
No, see, I see this completely different. This is a perfect place for a guy like Gus Malzahn. If all the people are saying, oh, he's an overrated coach. Okay, all right. Well, let's see what happens. He goes to UCF and they're still 1-2 losses a year. How does this hurt his image? It doesn't.
How does it hurt his image if he goes to Central Florida and they suck?
No, I'm saying because I believe he will go to UCF and they'll still be a 1-2 loss team a year. Who's going to beat him? They've already got the best coach in that conference now.
No, they don't. No, they don't. It's not even close. I'm going to give you a second to correct what you just said because I'm going to crucify
Okay,
you.
the second best coach in that
There
league.
it
Sorry,
is.
I forgot about Larry Leipold. Isn't that who we're talking about?
What conference do they play in?
Isn't that in the American?
Yeah. Who else is in the American?
Buffalo.
No, Buffalo's
No?
in the MAC.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, you're.
Well, my bad.
Cincinnati's who I'm talking about.
Oh, Cincinnati.
They have Luke fucking Fickle.
Luke Fickle, excuse me.
Yeah.
Luke Fickle.
I would
other than
argue.
that one.
I would argue Gus Malzahn's not in the top 4 of coaches in that conference.
Okay.
I really would.
Okay.
I like SMU and what they're doing. Houston's got Dana Holgerson. Mm-hmm. And Cincinnati's got Luke Fickell. I mean, there's other good young coaches in this conference. I hate this hire. Really? I hate it with everything I am.
Okay.
I think it's awful. Mm-hmm. You brought in a failed SEC coach thinking that that's going to prop you up in some way at UCF. Mm-hmm. You do realize that we watched him get drugged down the sidewalk by Alabama for years, right? Mm-hmm. Like, we seen that.
We see every coach get walked down the sidewalk by
Not
Alabama.
like Malzahn did. Malzahn got out-recruited. He got out everything. Mm-hmm. He turned...
To Alabama, though. That's kind of my point.
He got out-recruited by a lot of people. He got out-recruited by Kirby Smart at Georgia, which is not a historically great program, and I laugh at how often I hear that. You sucked for 20 years. It's kind of hard for you to be historically great. You're not Alabama. You're not Ohio State. You are right now, but Clemson and Georgia are two schools that I look at and go, you know this is cyclical, right? We've done this a lot. Mm-hmm. There are very few teams that stay up there forever. Let the dust settle for the Clemson fans that realize that I just talked shit about you. Yeah, you're one Dabo Swinney defection away from being meh. I just realized I'm wearing Clemson Tiger Orange.
You are.
Wearing some Swamp Rabbits merch. I can't even point at the logo on my shirt right. Swamp Rabbits.
The Swamp Rabbits. How was that, by the way?
Go Bits. It was actually great. You know what I have learned? I love live hockey. Mm-hmm. I know that comes as a shock to everybody. Live, great. Phenomenal. But I request one thing. Stop breaking them up fighting. If they're going to fight, let them fight. I'm convinced Stephen Tao was actually on that ice.
Okay.
Wow. I know Steven. Steven's a really tall guy. Mm-hmm. There was somebody that played for the Orlando Solar Bears, I think was the name of the team they were playing. I remember thinking it was a stupid name. But he was like 6'9", and he just wanted to fight everybody, and I was here for it. But they wouldn't let him. They kept breaking it up, and then they let two little dudes beat the piss out of each other. And then they helped each other up off the ice. Oh, you okay, partner? Hey. Yum.
Nice.
Then one guy bounced his head off the ice. Here's something I never thought about. If you get concussed playing hockey, you have to skate away.
Yep.
You don't just get to walk up and stumble away. You have to skate. And that served to be very difficult.
So you enjoyed that part?
Oh, yeah. We're actually going back to Greenville this weekend because I apparently don't know how to book accommodations well. Because we got to the hotel and they went, yeah, you have a reservation next Friday. And I used points, so I can't cancel it.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, I had to sit on the top of Saluda Mountain for 2.5 hours on my way down.
Oh yeah, when you called me, I was plastered. He calls me and says we're still sitting on 26, and I'm like, you should get there faster.
Yeah.
It's about how that conversation went.
Yeah.
You should fly. Rent a helicopter.
And then it was, you just extend your stay for another day. It'll be fine. Like, no, I can't do that. Can't do that. Got kids.
I still don't understand the logic of that, but
of leaving my children with my mother for another day.
Yeah.
Have you ever? I mean, I understand that my children are deathly afraid of you, but for most people, yeah. Most people can't just tower over them and get them to, curl up in a corner for 3 days with bread and water, like Jeremy probably could.
It's a service I provide.
Yeah.
Terrify your children.
No, I was getting text messages by 9 o'clock Sunday morning. When are you coming back?
Sweet.
Mostly because of the dog. Because, get this, my puppy stayed at my mom and dad's house as well. And she got in trouble 3 times on Sunday for chewing up their Christmas ornaments. Mom, Dad, it's fucking Valentine's Day. Take your Christmas tree down. They still have their Christmas tree up, and I've been.
Just a little early.
So yes, I'm going immediately.
I still have my Christmas tree up. And it's got red and white ornaments on it, so I call it my Valentine's Day tree.
Oh, well, how sweet!
It lights up the room. It's lovely.
It's.
I'm starting. I'm starting a thing here. I'm going to make Christmas trees a year-round thing. I'm going to decorate it for St. Patrick's Day,
Okay.
4th of July. It's an all-year-round tree.
Just leave it up all the time.
Starting some shit. Labor Day tree. Arbor Day tree. Just a tree. Well lit, nice tree in your living room. Makes the whole year festive.
What's the color scheme for Labor Day? Is that no? That's Arbor Day.
Arbor Day's green.
Arbor Day's got to be green.
It's very earthy. Very earthy for Arbor Day.
Labor Day is that
It's white. It'll be white because you can't do white after Labor Day.
labor unions.
Don't get me started on unions.
You
No
can do
politics.
all the red for the labor
They say
unions.
the red is probably a good one.
Yeah, the red for the labor unions.
It's going to be an all-year tree. It's a thing. I'm doing it. Doing it. It's already done.
Yeah, exactly. Patrick Holt, hashtag what white people do.
Yeah. Hey.
Leave that damn Christmas
Hey.
tree up all year long.
Hey, I took the lights down from the outside. I'm not trying to make you festive. It's just festive in here, motherfucker. How about that?
I don't know.
You want to be unfestive? That's cool. You stay on the other side of the door.
Eh.
In here, every day's a party. Hashtag never stop partying. Hashtag birds aren't real.
Never stop.
So the Stand, the Stephen King story.
Yeah.
You know, they got the new CBS going out. Well, I had been really wanting to see the old one, the one that came out in the 90s. The miniseries is like 8 hours long. So I had to buy it. We bought it, and at one point in the movie, we're sitting there with my wife, and the only living things other than the humans that were, immune to the virus were the birds. Because hashtag birds aren't real.
Birds aren't real.
Stephen King knows.
Birds. Birds. Big Brother's inside reconnaissance device system. Birds. That shirt also will be available at our merch store. That's one of the ones that's coming out today. Birds.
Birds, beards, and because baseball.
Birds, beards, because baseball. Yep. That's the thing.
All right, we'll be with you this afternoon on ESPN Asheville, 3 p.m. Who knows what we'll get into this afternoon.
If we can get there,
Hey,
because it's apparently going to be like 5 degrees outside.
It's going to be fine. It's going to be just fine.
I got sleeted on the way here.
Did you?
I did. It was unpleasant. I had the window down and hit me in the face, wasn't it? I'm like, sleet feels like shrapnel when you're driving at about 65.
Yes,
Especially when your arms hung out the window. Having you one of those morning feel-good smoky lung treats.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I think the weather will hold out. We'll be able to make it the 5 miles over to the radio station.
It's not even 5 miles. It's not even close to 5 miles.
No, it's more like 3 miles.
I'm going to go buck and a quarter. But
ESPN Asheville 92.9 FM, 880 AM at 1400. The Sports Tank with Jeremy Greene every weekday afternoon at 3 o'clock. Be sure to like, share, and follow us here at the Sportsocracy on all of the social medias. If you haven't yet, go and subscribe on the YouTube channel. We'll be able to do a lot more cool things with the YouTube side of this, so you definitely want to get in on the ground floor of that. Again, like, share, and follow with all your friends as well. We are live from the Wicked Weed studio, wickedweedbrewing.com. Drink different. I'm Tank Spencer. He's Jeremy Greene.
Yeah.
We'll see you this afternoon.